Welcome to Yeshiva Daf, responsible Nishmas Amyak Shalom Sitzchok. We're holding in Sanhedrin Daf Tzadikhes. We're starting in the Gemara on Tzadikzayin with base in the bottom. The Gemara says that we started in the end of the previous Daf. The Gemara brought the Machlekes discussion if the Geula comes with Tshuva or without Tshuva. So the Gemara brought a Machlekes, and now the Gemara is going to bring Rayas to it. Says the Gemara, Tani Yidach. Tani Yidach is 7 lines to the bottom of the page. Tani Yidach Blazer Imer Yisrael Sim Shuvu Nigolim Shenemar Shuvu Bonim Shevim Erpom Shuvu Yisachem. If they do Tshuva, Shmuchu will redeem them. That's why it says Shuvu Bonim Shevim. Then if they do Tshuva, Omla Bishuva Lekvaneemar Chinam Nim Kartem. You were sold for the Zohar, which is worthless. I don't need Tshuva Sitoivim to redeem you. It's going to be anyway, even without Tshuva Sitoivim. You do your first step, and then HaKadosh comes to us. HaKadosh is going to do it. It says there will be Beshuv and Nachas. Shuv is Lashon Tshuva. Beshuv Lablazo Kvanemar Koy Amar Hashem Goy Yisrael V'Kotchoy. Shmuch is the girl Yisrael. And it says over there Laboza Nefesh Lemitayev Goy Level Moishlim. So Rashi explains what does it mean Mitayev Goy, that he has Mituamim Ba'averis. They're full of Averis. And it says that so you see over here without Tshuva. If you do Tshuva, you'll come to me. He saw Nevuah, picked up his hand, right and left hand to the Shemayim. In other words, he says, Daniel brings, he saw that there will be a Geula of Am Yisrael, regardless, there will be a Geula of Am Yisrael. So what do you see from here? See from here that it has nothing to do, it doesn't do with Tshuva. The shots like Rabbi Lezer. So Rabbi Lezer was silent. Rabbi Lezer says that because Rabbi Lezer did not answer. Because he said you have to do tshuva here, Masha, at a certain time. So you see over here that what? So this is the Machlekes. The Machlekes, as the Maharsha explains. So the Maharsha, that we have a Machlekes over here, if the Geula comes from Hashem to us, or from us to Hashem. As the Gemara said, as when we ended the previous daf, what's the Machlekes? They both agree that tshuva needs to happen. But the Shaila is, will it be initiative of Am Yisrael? HaKadosh Baruch Hu will be Mamile Melech Kosh Kahamon, and they do tshuva. So it will come either through Am Yisrael or through HaKadosh Baruch Hu that will lead to it. Shaila is, who's the initiator? Is the initiator Am Yisrael, or the initiator is HaKadosh Baruch Hu? So we made the Gemara ended that the both didn't have an answer to the following question. It says there's a certain date when Mashiach will come, and that day is regardless of what Am Yisrael do. This is the Ramchal. Ramchal says that we have Haftacha that there will be Geula, regardless of Am Yisrael, because Baruch is going to be Megalgel the sea boys to bring it to the right place. So the following thing is when you see this happening, that's a Kates Megula. That means the Kates is coming. What does it say? So he says, V'atem arei Yisrael and afechem tidnu v'preichem tisu l'am Yisrael. Ki, and the Emshech HaPasuk is, Ki korvu lohi. Says the mountains will grow, the trees will grow. When the mountains of Am Yisrael and the trees flourish, then you know that there is a Geula coming. So as Rashi says, the first narrow lines in Rashi, she says, that's what Ketz Megul. So Ramosha Zatzal, and the Shur, not the ones that are Pekhelik, the ones Rabbi Bachana, when he said he had a very Zionistic shir when he quoted this Gemara, and he says when you see the mountains of Am Yisrael, of Eretz Yisrael, full of fruits, that means it's knock on the door. There's a case. The Geula is coming. That the Geula is coming. So another one. So there's no workers, not for a man and not for a woman. Rashi says, we said before. Whoever comes in and out, ain't shalom. So what does it mean? They also suffer. So that's a right Mashiach is coming. What does it mean kulam shkulim? All the shar will be equal in value, and either because there will be a big soiva, Rashi says, or because they'll all be expensive. One of the two opposite ideas. The following simony hard to understand, but just the words. They could look for a fish for a sick person, they couldn't find it. Chaseva says, talk about here in Yonim of Torah, so he'll make the water drown, the water will be like oil, you can't find any fish over there. And then will become Mashiach. What does it mean Malchus Hazolos? So here we have different explanations. But the Rashi says, they will obviously have no kingdom, no control at all. Even the what? No sovereignty. Nothing. No cheshivas. The Yad Ramah learns that we're talking about the Malchus Hazolos speaks about Malchus of the Goyim. That Malchus will be the very, very low Malchus. The presidents that are not very, chashuv, respectful. Shneimar v'karas hazalzolim b'mazmeirus. Take away the low ones, cut it off.
You could have both. You could have no sovereignty, and they can be controlled by a government that has.
Oh, very good, very good. Combination of both shocking.
They're not mutually exclusive.
Not mutually exclusive. Got it. You will shine Lashem Tzvokos. So it's a nation that's like losing out, and then will come Mashiach. Until the Bali Gaiva don't go away, Mashiach can't come. The Bali Gaiva go away. Very low level, very down, very Bali novel. That's where you have it. What's Pshat? Because of Pshat is because this is the Chur even Pshat. When you have a Gilir Kodesh Baruch Hu in the time of Mashiach, Kodesh Baruch Hu Migali Atzmoi only in the Anovim, not in the Bali Gaiva. Until the judges and the police will be gone, and as the Mashmos of the Gemara goes on to say, meaning that the bad ones will go gone. Bring back your safety. When they give tzedakah, Shemat Tzion, Mishpot Tibode v'Shaveh Bet tzedakah. Papa Batli Yehiri Batli Amgoishi. If there won't be Bali Gaiva, this is more we had somewhere else, and then you'll take away also the Amgoishi, go away from your Samaka Rashi. That's what Rashi says. The thing over here is that the people that use sorcery. Ibatli Dayoni, Bad Dayonim, Batli Gazirfati, which is the people that control Ritam the Malchus. If he did, but the Goyshech Tiv took away the called Bidilai, Bidilai the daily Minamok. If you wanted Dayoni, but the Gazirfiti, the Tiv, Chitzesh Sheish Patayich, Pana Oivayich. So the soil will go away. See the word, the generation coming lower and lower. Wait for Mashiach. Shneimar v'sam oni Toshiach. You see a lot of tzoros coming to him. Kenahar Chakelo, you know Mashiach is coming. Shneimar ki yavo kenar tzar Ruach Hashem nois saboy. Hashem is in there. So Michlo Votzion Goyel. Right after that says comes the Geula. Rabbi Yochanan ben David bo ela bedor shekul zakai or kul chayav. Now this is an interesting thing. That Mashiach comes, or if everybody did or tzaddikim, or if they're all chayav. Dichtiv, v'havach kulam tzaddikim lo l'mishuretz. That's so dor shekul zakai dichtiv v'havach kulam tzaddikim lo l'mishuretz. Dor shekul chayav dichtiv ma'ar ki en yish yishtem ki mavgia dichtiv l'mani esek. We'll do this for l'mani. So here, these are two extremes that as comes up in the Marshal, unfortunately over here, going back to the Sugya Leil. Because the Sugya Leil said, if Mashiach comes, when we do tshuva, or when HaKadosh Baruch Hu does it. And the Ma'aseh comes out that there's two inyanim, as we'll see in a moment here in the Gemara. There's one Geula coming from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and there's one Geula coming from us. When Am Yisrael are all doing tshuva, that's Kula coming from us. That's when Kula Zakah. Kula Zakah, that means automatically Zakah, they did tshuva, so Kula Zakah, as the Maharal explains. Kula Chaya means that it's so bad that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has to intervene. And that's the Chal that we mentioned before, that you have HaKadosh Baruch Hu has a date that it has to come there. If it doesn't come that day, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will get involved. So these are three, in other words, it's really miyash the machlekes. The machlekes is, it's not really machlekes, depends on the case. And that's what leads us to the next Gemara. And that's the very sadistic Gemara of Perek Chelek. Omar Alexandria Rabbi Shua ben Levi Ran. Ksibi talks, we'll bring Mashiach and it's time. Vechtiv achisheno, and it'll make it faster. Zochu achisheno, lo zochu bito. So that's what it is. If there's a certain time for Mashiach to come. If they have a schus, it'll come faster. If they don't have a schus, it'll come on time. And that's what it says, that you have basically two times of Mashiach. The time the Am Yisrael are doing tshuva on their own, they bring it faster. And you have time when the Kadosh Baruch Hu will make it sure come in that time. And the Gemara, just one more Gemara with that before we behind a little bit more, is that we have another Gemara similar to the two types of Geula. For Alexandria B'Shua Levi Rami Ksiv Oru Imanei Shmaya Kiva Inish also. You have something coming from Shamayim, human being coming from Shamayim. That's Mashiach Tiva Oni Reichel Chamor, his poor man going on a donkey. Zocho, if it did it with Tshuva and their Pula, so Iman Nishmai comes Mashiach from heaven. Zocho Oni Reichel Chamor. It says, the king of Persia asked Shmuel, Mashiach is coming on a donkey. I'll lend him my good horse to make it fun. I have nice horses. I'll give my best horse. That you have the one that has many white colors. So Rashi says it was the Milsa de Al-Madachia. It wasn't a real taina. But there is in Yanim over here that there is something that had to do with the Chavar, how it changes the Chaymius of the world. But the Nekuda that comes out, this is really the whole Ma'alach of the Hamud, is that we have two types of Geulas. We have a Geula that comes from Kadosh Baruch Hu when it's at the end of the days, and Geula obviously can bring it earlier. Now, according in the Vilna Gaon is brought down in a few places, and this is Rav Moshe Shapiro that spoke about in the Shur and Perek Chelek, printed in the Sefer of Rabbi Yossi. This is the two blot that Sefer deals with. Yesterday's blot and this blot. And we have over here that the Vilna Gaon says that the Beito Achisheno is there a certain time when Mashiach comes. And if it comes earlier, that will be what? That will be Mashiach ben Yosef. There's two Mashiachim, Mashiach ben Dov, Mashiach ben Yosef. Mashiach ben Yosef is the process to bring the Mashiach ben Dov. Will the process start earlier or not? That depends on if we have the tshuva, so you have Mashiach ben Yosef. And if not, the Mashiach ben Yosef and Mashiach Dov come together, it's not going to be Achishenu. But the Achishenu will not be that Mashiach ben Dov comes in an early date. It's just the process starts early. But the date always remains the same. It answers a lot of questions regarding, we have days when Mashiach can't come. It's a chain we know that Achikol B'Cholim Sheyavoy. Cholim Sheyavoy could be the beginning of the process of Mashiach. Says the Gemara, in Rabbi Shua ben Levi Ashkech Eliyahu Davekaya Pitcha the Me'art of Shir Bar Yochai. So Shua ben Levi goes, he sees Eliyahu in the entrance of the Me'ar of Shir Bar Yochai. So here we have another gears over here. Yeshua ben Levi says, and he says, when is Mashiach coming? Which we'll see in a moment. Argues, let's go with our Gemara. The first thing he sees is You coming? I mean, I coming to Olam Haba. Which refers to the Shechina. We'll agree. You'll go. Shuman Levi. Shuman Levi. Shnai Reisi. The Kol Shlishi Shamati. Saw two people. Who are the two people? Pashas means him, Leo. But I heard a third voice, which is the Shechina. It's a Rashi learns. And the first we have to deal with it. That maybe the 2 and 3 does it means Leo is the Neshama and Guf. Amalei Mais Osim Mashiach. When is Mashiach coming? Amalei Zil Shaila Didei. Go ask him. Mashiach. Ve'echo Yosef, where is Mashiach sitting? So he says, Yosef Apitcho de Karto, in the entrance of the city. The Vilna Gaon says over here, entrance of the Roman city. My Simone, I'm going to find him. Yosef Binei Ani is sitting with the poor people, Soivli Chaloyim, the ones that have tzaras. The Kulam Shor V'Asir B'Chadzim, all of them, when they have plagues on their bodies, they remove the bandages, all of them together. They take all the bandages out, and then they put the bandages back in. He is doing one, taking out one, putting down one. So maybe they'll need me. Maybe they'll call for Mashiach. I can't be busy. From the middle of taking my bandages, I have to put new bandages. If I have all the bandages put on, it'll take 2 more times. So he does one by one. So he's always ready to go. This goes to the Nekuda when the story that when came to Reb Chaim Moiser to tell him to become the Rav of Vilna. So they gave him they came to him and said, "Can the Rav be the Rav of Vilna?" And he said, "I'm not sure. I don't know. I want to do my learning." So they told him, "Rebbe, 100,000 people are waiting for Rebbe to come. The Rav will become the Rav of Vilna. 100,000 Yidden are waiting. 100,000 Yidden." So he took his coat and right away came. So they told the story to Chavetz Chaim. So Chavetz Chaim said, if they will tell Mashiach there's a few million people waiting for Mashiach to come, he right away take his coat and come. You have to wait for him. So when Mashiach is always ready to come. Says the Gemara, so he goes to Mashiach. You have to understand, obviously not talking about Mashiach himself. Mashiach could be, as we're going to say later, Mashiach, it changes from generation to generation. It means that Koyach, the Mashiach is coming. Amalei Shalom Alecha Rabbi Umayim. Amalei Shalom Alecha Bar Livoy. Says Shalom you Bar Livoy. Amalei Amis and Leimas Asimah. When are you coming? Amalei Hayoim. Coming today. Also Gabriel came back to Yonavi. Amalei Mai Omalecha. So what did he tell him? Amalei Shalom Alecha Bar Livoy. He told me, he called me in the name of Levi. Amalei Aftachacha Lecho V'Lavucha La'amodosi. He promised you and your father to go to Olam Haba because he called the name. He faked. He called you and your father the same name. Going to Olam Haba. He lied to me. So he says, coming today, he's not coming. In other words, the Hayoim is the Hemshech HaPasuk. If everybody's going to do tshuva, then he will come. So obviously the story needs more Havana. We say that. So when Ben David is going to come, I'm afraid you'll give him 1 hour aside. We're not going to ask for a sign. The first we discuss which shah we're talking about. Some explain we're talking about the shah of Rome, the gate of Rome. So when it falls, it'll be rebuilt. Falls again, it'll be rebuilt. And then when it falls, and the third time, and before they rebuild, then Ben David will come. Give us a sign. You just say not answer a sign. The water coming upon is turned to blood. So here, in each one of these, in the Kudus Zayin, what is the shar that falls down? The shar referring to the koiches of the Umas Oilam, and what are they missing out when Ben David comes? And what's the Maras Pamias, the yard that comes from, so some of our shpars that come above, turning to blood. Moshe is Maich in this shur. But it says, he told him, when you bury me, put my coffin down below the ground in a very deep place. Why? So what that's Yechezkel with base. The first part is on the get to what he said. It says that every tree in Bavel, there will be the soldiers of Persia will come to conquer Bavel. With so many horses, they will tie the horse in every tree. Every tree will be used. They're going to take out all the coffins from the ground when they're coming to do B'chemes Goy G'Magoy, and they will use it to feed the animals. So I want my burial to be very deep. Says the Gemara, Omar having been David Bachli's passion, Malchus Yisrael Tisha Chodoshim. So there is a concept that we saw also in Yumo. There will be Malchus Rosh Hashanah for 9 months. Shema lechen yitnem ad eis yoledo, yes eis yoledo yolda. So once you have 9 months, then Am Yisrael will come back. So now the Gemara turns to after we said all kinds of simonim and how long and all that. Says Ula, when he comes, I want him to come. I don't want to see him coming. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see the process. What? Yeah, I want to see him. I don't mind if I have to be in the shadow of the dirt of the donkey. I'm good enough for me. I'm going to buy my time. What's the reason you want to see him? Because of the service to come and tell Mashiach. It says, what can you do in order to be saved from the Chevla Mashiach? You'll be busy with Chasodim. You have to give Chasodim. I'm afraid that maybe a chet will take it away, and it will. My Chasodim will not help me. So he's afraid of Chevla Mashiach. Because Chevla Mashiach is the choice to come in time Mashiach. So when the time Mashiach comes, the Mita Sadinim is Gala in the world. And every single, every single question, every single problem that is judged right away. So therefore, nobody wants to be there in Chevla Mashiach. He asked a question. Yaakov promised him that he will guard him wherever he goes. So Yaakov was very afraid. What are you so scared about? He was afraid maybe he lost everything because of the chait. As we find in the Brisa, an example where the chait actually caused something. Where was it? It says in the pasuk of Yahweh Hashem Zabir Rishayno, Yahweh Zukaniso Zabir Shnio. When Am Yisrael came to it, so they came twice. They came in the time of Mitzrayim, and they came in the time of Bavel. All more and more matter, and then you compare the two. All Yisrael, or Yisrael, supposed to be when they came from Bavel in the second time, it should have been in the same miraculous way they did in the first time. The chet caused to disappear. So the Sadly says, in other words, what do you see over here? That yes, even though the Nevuah says there will be a Maaseh, the Chet could stop it. The Ramban brings the Chumash. That's why the Novi wants to make a simon in the Horetz, because once it starts, so then you don't say it's going to stop. So the simon is to start the process. Do a simon, and the simon brings it down to the world, and now it's not going to stop. But if it never started, Shari Yigur Machet. So you should come and you should not see him, afraid of Chevla Shemashiach. My time. If someone runs away from the lion, catches him a beer, gets to the house, this guy has no luck. The lion goes to the beer, then he gets to the snake. So he says that, so he says it will be service going on in the world like this way. So he says, this can happen in this world too. Why? Because it says, he's someone who goes out to the field and finds in the sun. Rashi, the sun is the one who measures the size of the fields, and in this case, referring to tax purposes, or he takes away part of his field. He ran away, feels like this guy, the Lion King, took away part of my field. He comes to the city, comes to God by the tax collector. Now he goes to the house, he sees his kids in hunger. So he's saying, you're saying, oh, I don't want to get the Mashiach, because look what's going to happen to Mashiach. It can happen here today too. Ariel Maz also can happen. It's not a Chevla Mashiach that happens. If a male gave birth, what's the problem? The men have their hands on their thighs like they're having a birth. And all face turned to green. What does it mean? Who's that? Turns to green. His face. They turn to green. So when it comes the time of Goy Gumogoi, there is a challenge, so to speak, Lapimalo. We have Am Yisrael and we have the Goyim. It says, they're both Maisi Yodai. Why should I destroy one more than the other? Call Pama Shemali, Pama Shemata turn green. When the ox runs, he falls. So you put instead of him the horse, and then it's hard to go and switch back the ox to the horse. So once the Kivyocha Kashbul gave Rishus to the other Umois to exchange Amis of the This is obviously a very difficult Gemara. But someone explained just one more Mahalach is, we're talking back to what we said before, Tam Yisrael are not doing Tshuva. When Am Yisrael doing Tshuva, and they're back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then there's a very big difference between HaKadosh Baruch Hu, between Am Yisrael and the Ummah Yisrael. But when they're not doing Tshuva, when the Geula comes, Beito, it's like the Malach said in Kriyas Yamsuf. Why are you choosing more than the other? You see why you're choosing more than another? That's where it gets challenging. Then you have to come to a deeper essence where there's a special connection with the Klal Yisrael. Not so clear upon it. It's not on the surface. There'll be years. Am Yisrael will enjoy the benefits of the years of Mashiach, all what he's going to conquer and all they're going to enjoy it. They're going to loot. Of course, who else is going to enjoy Mashiach's years? Rashi has a very long, there's long Rashi, who's chilik or bilik? You want to say maybe it's a shady, is according to the first round of Rashi. Meaning, it's going to be, there's who else is going to do it? Except Am Yisrael. So more, I tell you what. The Homar in Mashiach Yisrael. There's no Mashiach. Shekvar chlu b'mei Yechezkel. The time of Yechezkel, they already benefit from Mashiach. So what does it mean? So first we have different explanation. The pshat is, of course, there's a Mashiach, but there won't be the benefits of enjoying all the money that's in Mashiach because that already happened to Yechezkel. So the side benefits are not going to be there. Others want to say that there's no Tekufa Mashiach, meaning the Tekufa Mashiach will be gone. Mashiach will come, and immediately after Mashiach comes, it will come with Lamab. It's going to be a very short amount of time. Mashiach ben David. So there's another explanation that the Mashiach that a Mashiach Yisrael means that we don't have a specific person to Mashiach. We have Mashiach, and now right now focusing on the Tkufa Mashiach. So it's a Gemara that needs more explanation. The world was created for David the Melech and Shmuel Hanavi. Sorry, LeDavid. Sorry, Shmuel Amar LeMoshe. Sorry, Shmuel says the Shmoishe. We're going to say it's created for Mashiach. So this is in Yonim over here. We have David and Moshe, just one premise. David and Moshe begimatria is Mashiach. So really, Mashiach is a combination of David and Moshe. David is the Melech, and Mashiach is the Melamed Torah L'Am Yisrael, and Moshe is the Melamed Torah L'Am Yisrael. Mashiach is a combination of both. It's a Malchus and Melamed Torah L'Am Yisrael. So Shaila is which one we're focusing on more. Which aspect of Am Yisrael is what Am Yisrael needs the most. Says the Gemara, my Shmoy. What's the name of Mashiach? That's his name. That's the union of Chivra of Tzaras. So here the Mefarshim, the Mahalach speaks about every one of these names. What does it mean? There's a meaning to the name. when we want to talk about the name of Mashiach, we're not talking just to know what his name is. How do you title him? Shot is, what is the essence of Mashiach? And each one of these names reflects a different essence of Mashiach. If it's from the lie people, it could be me. So it means it's coming from one of us. It could be me. Rav, if we have to take from the lie people, is Rabbi. Rabbi is right to be Mashiach. So he says that. So what does it mean? There's someone who's royim in Chaim to be the ones who is representing Mashiach, and there's one from the Mason, Daniel, who he would sacrifice himself for Am Yisrael. One thing you see over here, you see that the Gemara is not so sure if Mashiach is coming from the people that are alive or dead. It's two options. But if it's someone from the Mason, there is, generations of people that died, and we have a designated person. He's already dead. This is in a Chaim. You say, okay, maybe the most proper one is in a Mason, so I don't have to choose someone who just died now. It could be someone who died generations ago. There'll be another David. Is David Malcolm Shakim Lem. Hakim lo ne'emar Elokim will be in the future. It says David Avdi, which means that it will be, there was one David. It says, what does that mean? Look at Rashi. Rashi says, Melech v'sheni loy. Can David the Chadosh Melech k'dechtiv David Malka v'shakim? David Melech sheni l'chtiv nasiya lehem v'leksu Melech. So here in the first we say that David, the new David, is Mashiach. That's what David is. Not another one called David. Pshat is the Melech HaMashiach is not David the Melech. Melech HaMashiach is a new David. It's a new Melech coming to the world who will be Mashiach. It's not David himself. That goes back to what we said before. Moshe and David together come to Mashiach. It says David will be their king. He will be also their, he'll be the secondary. But the Mashiach is its own entity. It's a new thing that comes to the world. It's not a hemshech, not something which already exists. It's a new concept that comes to the world, and that's he can include what we're trying to say in this course, but also in the previous daf, regarding the Mechash Kitzim. We're not talking about something which is part of the process of the world. It's a new entity, a new concept, a new era that comes to the world. We'll stop over here.